Usually when I sit down to read a book, I control everything. How many pages I'm reading, where I'm reading, and even when I'm taking a break. But today, I'm giving up all of that control. By the end of today, I want to read at least 250 pages, if the dice will let me. Here are the rules. The first one is the reading die, and that is how many pages I get to read today. The second is the location die, and that determines where I read in my house. And lastly is the fate die, and that is an extra challenge that I have to complete before I move on to the next turn. Whatever I roll, I have to do. So let's begin. I feel like I'm shooting craps in this bitch. Alright, first die is 4. This is the reading die. So how many pages I have to read is 40. The second die is the location die, and it is number 5, so I get to read in my loft. And this is the fate die, and I rolled a number 3, and that means I have to give a reading update. Well, being that I haven't even started the book, I can't really give you an update, but I can give you a synopsis of what this book is about. Today I'm reading Where the Wildflowers Grow by Terah Shelton Harris. Now this is about a woman named Leah. One day she's on a bus that gets into a car accident, and she's the only lone survivor. She happens to walk around to try to find a safe place to reside, and she stumbles upon this farm somewhere in Alabama. She has to find found family with these new strangers that she's come in contact with. She has to find peace in the hard times that she's living through right now, and a lot of old trauma is going to resurface throughout this book is what I'm gathering. So it's going to be a very touchy read, and I can't wait to get started. Oh my god, I've been holding my breath this entire first chapter. I just made it to page 20. The event that happened in this first chapter is Leah is on a prison bus. She's a prisoner. The bus driver got into an accident because they were trying to avoid hitting a deer. The bus drove off the road into the water, and everyone on this bus has drowned and died except for Leah. Leah is taking way too long with these descriptive words and descriptive sentences with how she's feeling at the moment with one of the guards that's really close to her, when she needs to be taking her ass out of that bus and up to the surface so that she does not drown to death, because everyone in her life she has watched die. She's the only lone survivor in her family now, which is a very lonely existence, but she eventually makes it to the surface. She doesn't know where she's at the moment, and she eventually passes out on the shoreline. So I'm gonna predict that going into the next chapter going forward, she's gonna wake up disoriented, then she'll be able to recall everything that's happened within the last 12 hours, I guess. Then she's gonna stumble upon the flower farm somewhere in Alabama. I'm halfway done with the reading goal that I have for this turn, which is to read up to page 40. I'm at page 20 right now, so let's keep going. I just put my son down for a nap and I'm starving, so let's go downstairs, warm up some leftovers that I made yesterday, and eat. Last year I stumbled across a video of a woman making rasta pasta, and I made it yesterday and it was so good, so I'm about to warm it up. The ingredients are so easy. You just need heavy whipping cream, whatever choice of protein chicken that you want to use. I used chicken breast because that's all we had left. Whatever pasta, I used penne, but you can use whatever you please. Bell peppers, onions, all the good stuff, and a lot of spicy seasonings like Cajun seasoning. And I also use this Jamaican mild seasoning. I'll show you right here. This shit is the holy grail to the ingredient. Season everything with this and it's gonna taste phenomenal. I just made it to page 40, and that is chapter 3. I feel terribly sorry for the main character in this book because from her childhood, she has gone through so much. Her mother and father were in a very tumultuous marriage and relationship. The mother was basically using her body to get ahead in life. Often their lights would be cut off in their house, their water would be cut off, and she would have to sleep with someone in order to get those dues paid. Then the father would leave at random times for long durations of time, and the girls, the main character and her sister Lila, would be wondering where he's at, and he is nowhere to be found. So this was never a healthy life for Leah to live in the first place. So I understand why in her adult life she has gotten into trouble. The trouble, I don't know what it is yet as far as what landed her in prison, but I have an idea that she had something to do with all of the deaths in her family. So with that being said, it's time to roll the dice again for turn number 2. I got extremely lucky the first round because it was easy. I always read in the loft, so watch me have to read in the bathroom next. I hope that's not the case. Dice number 1 is 4, so I have to read 40 pages again this round. The location dice is 5 again, and that means the loft, but I think I'm gonna reshuffle this one because I'm tired of sitting in the same spot. Location is 4, and that is my bed, which is perfect, but I just hope I don't fall asleep. And for the fate die, and it is number 2, which means I can control the atmosphere, so I can make a tea. I can listen to lo-fi, which I'm already listening to on the TV, and I'm gonna see if the audiobook for this book is available, just so I can get a little ahead of my goal. Because it's already 1:30 in the afternoon, I'm only on page 40, so I need to get this ball rolling if I wanna get to 250 pages. Oh my god, that's so morbid. The war ended with a single bullet to my great-grandfather's head. What? Just pulled up the Libby app to see how long the wait for the audiobook for this book would be. I didn't even bother placing hold on it because it said there's like 18 copies that are in use right now and 89 people are waiting per copy. I'm like, oh hell no, that's not happening. It's gonna be weeks, like 12, 14 plus weeks till I get a hold of that audiobook. And I'm gonna be long done with that book by the time it's available. So we're just stuck reading the physical copy. Guys, I can't even hold you right now. I am falling asleep and it is so hard to keep my eyes open. I'm literally reading with one eye open right now. How is that possible? I don't know, because I don't even know if I'm comprehending what I'm reading right now. So I think it's time to take a break. Take a little short nap while my son is still napping, and I'll have to reconvene later. We needed a bit of scenery change because we are going so crazy inside of the house. I've made it to about page 70, give or take, and Leia is on the run, basically. She's trying to get out of South Carolina. She has to take on an entirely new identity because of some situation that happened in her childhood. And reading about all the things that she had to endure as a little girl, her and her sister, is so disheartening, and I feel terribly bad for them. But I'm also wondering, when she makes it to this new location, what life she's gonna have to take on and gonna have to make a new identity for herself. Being her own independent woman, maybe having to find a job, even though her face is soon to be plastered all over the news, so we'll see. It's been an hour or two later, but I have finally made it to page 80. But I need to roll this dice to see what round 3 has in store. Just like I said before, this last round was pretty mild and easy, so let's see what we get this time. So I rolled 2 zeros, and for the reading dice, it is 0. That means Siri gets to choose how many pages I read from 1 to 50. Hey Siri, pick a number 1 through 50. It's 10. Oh, I got so lucky. I just have to read 10 pages this round. Second die is location die and it's 4 again. That's my bed. I don't feel like reading in bed right now. So let's re-roll. 2. Number 2 is reading in my son's room. It's a disaster, so I'll have to show you guys what it looks like. And for the fate die, it is 0. And I wrote down lucky roll and I can take a break, so whenever I feel like taking a break between these 10 pages, I will. That was not too bad. This should be a fairly easy round. So let's keep reading. This is the state of my son's room right now, so hopefully the disorganization doesn't stop me from reading or ruining my concentration on this book. That 10 pages went by extremely fast. So a little update of what's going on so far. Leah got on a Greyhound bus from South Carolina trying to go to a different destination. The Greyhound bus broke down in a town called Camden. So she stumbled upon a little cabin that was near the bus that broke down, and she overslept the next morning when the relief bus was supposed to come and pick them up to continue their route. So the owner of the cabin little resort allowed her to stay at his cabin resort only if she were to clean these cabins on the grounds. After she cleaned all the cabins, he allowed her to stay at a cabin that was vacant so that she can save up a little money while she's temporarily at this cabin for a little bit before she continues on her journey. And with that being said, let's move on to the next round. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to read in the kitchen for probably like 30 pages. Let's see. So dice number 5 for reading is 50 pages. Location dice is 5. So Google gets to choose a location I get to read in my house. And fate die is 3, which means I have to give a reading update, which I already did. So let's read these 50 pages and let's see what location Siri actually wants me to read in. Pick a number 1 through 5. Oh, it picked 1, so that means I have to read in the kitchen, which is perfect because he needs to eat dinner soon. It's nice to finally know the meaning of what these wildflowers mean to Leah. They remind her of her sister's presence, of her sister running through the wildflowers back on their land as children. It reminds her of her sister's laughter. And that's something that's very deep and meaningful to Leah, because every time she sees flowers now, she's gonna be thinking of the good times that she had with her sister. And that overrides all of the bad that's happened in her life at a young age. I never thought to think of flowers as a metaphor such as that. Flowers can bring memories to people. They can connect people to past events, past people in their lives. So it's really nice to see that connection. I'm taking a mini break to update you guys. Leah happened to stumble upon a farmer's market one day in Camden, and she ran into a very beautiful, sexy, voluptuous man that owns a flower farm. And he was at the farmer's market selling the flowers from his flower farm. He tried to make friendly talk and friendly banter with Leah, but she was not having it because of course she has a wall up protecting her own feelings, her identity, and she doesn't want anyone to know who the real her is. So after she returns home from the farmer's market, a bouquet of flowers was waiting for her at the campground, and Mr. Walt told her that Jackson, who was the gentleman that owns the flower farm, paid it forward and gave her a bouquet of flowers to thank her for the interaction that they had at the farmer's market. Now she was curious to know who Mr. Jackson is, and he told her that if she wants to go visit the flower farm, she has to take a ferry to this next destination is where the flower farm is located. So she does that one day, and she just happens to stumble upon the flower farm, and she runs into one of the help. His name is Luke. He helps on the flower farm, and then Jackson eventually appears. So they begin talking, and you can tell that she is fond of Jackson. She feels like they have a connection, like they know each other from one point in life, even though that day at the farmer's market was the very first time that they have ever met. So Jackson's being a nice, courteous gentleman and taking her back to the campgrounds by driving in the truck with her because the ferry has already closed for the evening. And that's where I'm at in this book. I'm on page 125. I just got to chapter 7. I am starting to get a little tired. My son is being put to bed right now, so I'm gonna try to get to page 140 hopefully within the next 20 minutes so I can start to wind down for the evening. I'll keep you posted. All right, y'all, I am calling it quits for the night. I am tired. It is 9:30 in the evening. I'm ready to go to sleep. But I did make it to chapter 8 on page 146. So that is pretty good for a full day of reading with a toddler running around the house. I did pretty good for myself. And I was not doom scrolling as much as I usually do because I was busy reading. With that being said, this is the end of today's video. I had so much fun with this dice game. I'm definitely gonna do this again. I'm gonna try to add in more prompts and little crazier locations. Obviously, I read in my house today because I was not planning on leaving, but I will do prompts as far as the locations outside of my house, like a bookshop, library, little coffee shop, something of the sort, reading at the park, as long as it's not too hot or raining. So look forward to those videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.